Well, the U.S. Secretary of Education was in Alaska today, visiting 2 schools in Wasilla during her 24-hour stay. Lauren Maxwell talked to her about a controversial plan that could put her out of a job.
I want to hear the loudest cheer you've got for the United States of America, the greatest country on earth.
U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon exciting a crowd of students at Kinnick Charter School. It's one of 2 stops the secretary made in the Valley Thursday that also included Matsu Career and Tech School.
And I am going to every state in the country. This is, I think, number 35.
McMahon is looking at what different schools in different states are doing right and doing wrong. It's part of a bigger push to shrink or even eliminate the U.S. Department of Education under a mandate from President Trump. It would allow states to receive federal funds directly and have a lot more say in how the money is spent.
But instead of flowing through the bureaucracy of the Department of Education, paying for all that overhead and all of that, there would be more dollars to come to the states.
The move is applauded wholeheartedly by the Alaska Department of Education.
So that local level decision-making, building up to get rid of the bureaucracy is actually what we should be doing.
But the proposed changes are a worry for those who believe they will weaken public schools, including the move to strengthen school choice. The Alaska Teachers Association called the secretary's plan a relentless campaign to degrade and dismantle the supports that benefit Alaska students, saying it will hurt some of Alaska's most vulnerable students the most. McMahon doesn't necessarily agree.
What we are finding in public schools in areas where we've had more school choice, et cetera, are really thriving because they are now in a more competitive environment. However, there are some schools that will close.
Back at Kinnick Charter, McMahon awarded students who did well in a history quiz. It was another stop on the tour. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
New tonight, the Alaska Department of Fish and Game now confirms it was just one lone male bear that attacked 2 U.S. military soldiers during a training exercise at J-Bear last month. So where should you file video of brown bears, not the actual bear that attacked? The agency says DNA analysis helped to make their conclusion. Wildlife officials think the bear attacked out of defense after coming out of hibernation. The Department of Fish and Game says it continues to watch bear activity across the area, and you are urged to alert them if you see a bear acting strange or aggressive. It's almost cruise season, and with thousands of visitors expected, the question is how safe is downtown Anchorage? Some business owners say they are seeing improvements, and they credit more visible police presence on the street. Anchorage police recently extended foot patrols downtown. Business owners tell us that's helping cut down on the smaller problems that can drive customers away.
I think we're noticing the foot patrols downtown are having an impact. They're talking to people, they're moving them along, they're finding resources for them, which is great. So a lot less of the kind of petty things, and we're feeling safer because the police are around.
Safe only because I see a lot more patrol out here. I noticed in the last 3 years there was a population of displaced people out here, but this year I feel like there's a lot more police presence.
APD says increased downtown foot patrols will continue through the summer, and police encourage anyone that may see a problem downtown to tell an officer right away. The Alaska Division of Forestry and Fire Protection is getting ready for several prescribed burns in the Fairbanks and Matsu in those next few months. Palmer and Wasilla could see the burns as early as tomorrow. Fairbanks and Sutton start as early as Monday, May 11th. Annual burns help to manage dry, grassy areas for the fire season, and the burns depend on weather conditions, of course. Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry joins us now. Melissa, what are the chances for those prescribed burns actually happening?
Well, things they look at are things like wind that's going to push it beyond where they want it to be. We're not going to see any big storms pushing through, so that's a good thing. Things are pretty stable and calm, at least for the moment. We do have some showers pushing across South Central, and it's just generally been much cooler today. 44 degrees right now in Anchorage, and looking at those conditions around the state, we've got upper 30s at this hour in Talkeetna. Snow still on the ground. ground on the hills around Fairbanks at 42. A little warmer in Juneau, but still cooler than what you would expect for this time of year, with highs holding in the low 50s. Now, a couple things we're watching out for, mainly because of breakup. We do have ice jams that are beginning to form on both the Kuskokwim and the Yukon River. So if you live in one of these areas highlighted in green, really important they're paying close attention to those water levels. Also, newly issued wind advisories near Ketchikan. That is for a storm still about 24 hours from now, but something you want to begin preparing for if you're in the southern portions of Southeast. Otherwise, if you're headed out and about tonight in South Central, a few light isolated showers still moving through, especially as you head up into the valley. Tomorrow, I don't expect any widespread rain moving through until the very tail end of the day. So we'll get through most of Friday with dry conditions in South Central. Fairbanks, a little bit of light rain to start the day. Juneau, you will see those scattered showers in and out for most of the day. And in Bethel, sunny to start, cloudy to finish, with high temperatures for you back into the upper 30s. And again, these temperatures still below normal for this time of year. I'll have a closer look at that extended forecast and where in the state 60s are now on the horizon.
Thank you, Melissa. Happening now. All trails in the Chena River State Recreation Area are closed until May 22nd. Alaska State Parks say that will protect those trail conditions during spring breakup and allow for that trail to dry out. Access to Olness Pond Campground and the Mary Shields Cabin are also flooded. In Capitol coverage, the governor has introduced an elections bill largely similar to one that he just vetoed last week. And with 13 days left in the session, lawmakers say they may not have time to act. Key difference between the bill is when they go into effect. The vetoed bill takes place before the midterms. Dunleavy's takes place the summer after. Democratic Senator Bill Wielechowski said he wouldn't back a bill that didn't go into effect after the election. For more on the story, including the Senate Minority Leader's thoughts, visit our website or mobile app. Well, this week, the Beers from a Boys event was held at Lat 65 Brewing. It let men over 40 get a free prostate cancer screening in exchange for a beer. Organizers think the event was a fun way for men to let down their guard and take control of their health. Prostate cancer is one of the most common causes of cancer-related deaths in men. 99 men in Fairbanks got a free screening at that event. Of course, nurses often play a big role keeping patients informed. And this week, the country recognizing their efforts. Danny Tompkins takes us inside the classrooms where resident UAA nurses are training for life-saving scenarios.
I want my dog!
Something unusual fills the halls of the UAA Health Sciences building.
So this is Hal. He breathes. You can see he makes gestures.
If you've ever had a nurse by your side, this is where that care begins.
Unzip a little bit. Their breath.
34 Anchorage students just earned their nursing bachelor's degrees.
I'm excited, but I'm also a little bit terrified.
And for Marco Rivera, it was 8 years in the making.
It was definitely the most difficult academic program that I've ever had to get through.
But before a real patient, there is this.
It certainly helped to do this on a mannequin first.
We got one coming up right now.
Is my baby okay? Oh!
Behind this two-way mirror is the control room where a simulation specialist can actually make this robotic mannequin simulate giving birth. Now, students typically come in this room in pairs of 2 and offer care to this birthing person.
It's a calling because you can help people anywhere.
Matt Christensen is back in school for the 3rd time. He says nursing is different.
I feel like with nursing, we get this passport into people's lives.
Caring for their emotions, their spiritual needs, and everything in between.
Now they enter a workforce that shows an increasing need for their skills.
There's more people on this world, more and more. So we're having to shove more and more people into this system that's already overburdened. That's not always because of staffing. That's just because we're just trying to see more patients on more dollars because physicians are getting paid less.
Christensen says he has a unique role.
We have this privilege as nurses, because we're not paid per patient, to be that touch point for people, to really break down the barriers between the super big brains, the surgeons, the doctors.
This National Nurse Week, those new Anchorage nurses are a step closer to making a difference in Alaska's hospitals.
So you've got a fetal heart rate up here, and then you've got her contraction pattern down here.
Ready to show up when it matters most. Danny Tompkins, Alaska's news source.
National Nurse Week continues through May the 12th.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.